Hi, everyone. My name is Jonah Sykes, and I am the manager of marketing at Berkshire Community College. And welcome to another episode of Access Higher Ed. Today, we're speaking with two of our students from Berkshire Community College, who I'm wicked excited to introduce you to. First, we have Hannah Dargi, and then we have Alicia Starsja. And both of them are students currently at BCC who are expecting to graduate in May of next year, 2019. So thank you both for coming this morning to be on the show with me, or at any time that you're watching this show. Can you guys tell us a little bit about yourself, and like what are your majors, and also why did you choose them? So Hannah, if you want to go first.
So I'm Hannah. I'm from Pittsfield, and my major is biology. When I graduate from BCC, I'm planning on getting a bachelor's in chemistry, though. So this is kind of just my starting point. I love the STEM field. I love science. I love doing research.
That's awesome. Yeah. Great. And Alicia?
My name's Alicia Starsja, and I live in Lee, and I went to Lee Middle and High School. I am part of the Human Service and Social Work degree program, and I plan on going to get my master's at Smith after BCC.
Awesome. That's great. So why don't you guys tell me, why did you choose to come to BCC? You guys can go in any order you want.
Okay, I'll go first. So I decided to come to BCC 10 years after I actually graduated from high school, because I originally wanted to go into early childhood, and after some challenging life situations, I decided that I needed to try to come back to college, even though I was worried that I wouldn't be able to succeed as a student, because I had a really hard time in high school with having a disability and not having accommodations that I needed. So I met with Eleanor Velez, and I had no idea what I wanted to do other than I wanted somewhat of a change, and she mentioned the Human Service Social Work degree program, and it was absolutely one of the best conversations that I've had and the best decisions that I've ever made.
That's awesome. When you came to, so you were thinking about going to early childhood, did you ever take any early childhood at BCC, or was it?
I did.
Oh, you did?
So I took two courses in my senior year, and I became certified.
Oh, wow.
So I was able to become an assistant teacher. But yeah, I really enjoyed those classes too.
But human services is the way you're at.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And Hannah?
So I grew up here in Pittsfield, and I was homeschooled from 5th grade till 10th grade. And when I was about to turn 16, and my mom met with the school board to talk about my curriculum, they said because I'm 16, in Massachusetts, you're not accountable to the school board anymore, really. And my aunt Kathy Dargi has worked at BCC for a long time, and she was like, "Why don't you come down and take the placement test, and we'll see where you're at." And I did well on the placement test, so after that, I just got my high set, the GED equivalent. And then I started taking courses at BCC when I was 16, because it was close to home. And
wow, when I was 16, I think I was learning how to read. I mean, I was just not even remotely prepared to be at a college level. And so you started BCC at 16 years old.
Yes.
Hannah, how old are you now?
19.
19 years old. When I was 19, I was just spinning my wheels, for heaven's sakes. This is awesome. What people don't know about BCC is that we do have students who come to us with your same situation. I think we were saying earlier, we have a 14-year-old at BCC because there are opportunities for some of our students to really, really succeed in high school, and all you need to come to BCC is a GED or a diploma, but most people don't even know that you just need a GED to come there. And once you do, you can start taking your classes, which is exactly what you did. So that's fantastic. Did you know at 16, or even when did you know that you wanted to go into biology specifically?
Well, when I was probably about 10 years old, my mom bought me this book on the history of medicine, and I loved it. So I'd heard a lot of good things about BCC's nursing program.
Yeah.
So when I started out at BCC, the plan was I was going to do the nursing program, which I wouldn't have been able to do till I turned 18. So I was just taking prerequisites and stuff. And one of the first classes I took was Chemistry 101, and it was my first time ever taking a chemistry class because I had never taken it in high school.
And you loved it?
I loved it.
Oh my God.
And
that's amazing.
Yeah, so I ended up changing plans, and now I'm in the biology program, and yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I took chemistry in 10th grade, and if Mrs. Malkus is watching, I'm sorry for how bad I was at it. So awesome. So let's hear a little bit more about your field of study. So you're super passionate about human services. Can you tell us what the human services field is at BCC? and then also what you want to do with it after BCC.
So what I see human services as is as really a bridge to social work and the human condition and helping others, which I'm just really passionate about, helping others and just being someone who can help people with resources and really finding what they need to improve and succeed in life. And as far as, what was the other one?
What do you hope to do even after your master's degree?
So,
what do you hope to do?
Well, I'm going to go to Elms for my bachelor's, and then my goal is to go to Smith. But afterwards, I feel like there's so many opportunities that I wasn't aware of to begin with. So originally, I wanted to go into hospital social work with like somewhere along the lines of like Boston Children's Hospital. Working with kids is definitely a huge passion as well. So I wanted to do something along those lines, but I feel like there's so much that we have access to when you're in the human service social work field that it's really endless.
I mean, you have opportunities to go into private practice once you keep climbing through the different educational barriers. I mean, there is a lot, and especially with the early childhood background, it would be a really interesting mix for the social work side of it to work with kids, which was your initial passion, but also to bring an extra level of social work to that, which would be really interesting.
Yeah, so that's my definitely like after my master's, and I want to get my doctorate too. Yeah. I really would like to open my own private practice and become like a play therapist for kids.
Awesome.
So
yeah, that's so cool. And then what do you, what's your field of study? I know it's biology generally, but like what do you hope to do with that? And can you kind of explain like what kind of offerings we have at BCC in those areas?
Well, once I graduate, I'm looking to get my bachelor's in chemistry, and there's so much in the STEM field.
Yeah.
So the more classes I take and the closer I get to graduating with my associates in biology, the more I learn about and the wider and wider my interests get. So right now, I'm like deciding between going into medicine, primarily surgery is what I'm interested in, or forensic science, or doing research in like a chemistry lab, which is why I'm planning on getting my bachelor's degree in chemistry, because that's like a good base for whatever I decide to go into. And what was...
So the different areas of study that we have at BCC. So what I'm referring to is you said you wanted to get into nursing at first, and one of the things we find is that people who try to get into nursing, they don't know about all the other opportunities that we have with their anatomy and physiology. Have you seen the animage table at all? Yeah, the coolest thing on campus right now. Tom Carey wants me to make sure I say I can't say it. Anatomy table, so I can't say it. Anyway, it's the coolest thing we have on campus right now, one of the neat things, and just like that, people who see that recognize that maybe they start out thinking they want to do nursing perhaps, they get into the biology field, they see something like that, and then they even pivot toward some of our allied health things, like the physical therapy program, or massage therapy or respiratory therapy. Did you ever see when you were in biology any of those areas being something you might want to clue yourself into, especially with regards to medicine, or are you just like, now that you're hooked on chemistry, you're pivoting again, do you think?
Well, I'm still, it's still kind of up in the air for me, but that's one of the things that, I'm really thankful for about BCC is that there's such a variety of things that you can study and learn about there and, take classes in. And right now, actually, through County Ambulance, the enrollment is through BCC as a workshop. I'm doing EMT training. So I'm hoping to volunteer or work as an EMT over the next couple of semesters.
That'll be great.
That way I can get some clinical experience and sort of see medicine or lab work. So
yeah, a lot of people don't know, or they don't necessarily connect our non-credit workshops to our credit field. And so there's the phlebotomy courses. There's the as you mentioned, there's the EMT courses. There's the CNA courses that we offer, all through the non-credit side of the house. And those things tie directly into your experiential training. So that's really, really great that you're doing that. My favorite non-credit workshop is the chainsaw workshop. I would never actually use a chainsaw because I'm terrified of them, but I think it's such a cool idea that we have a chainsaw workshop. But anyway, there's my plug for workshops. Okay, cool. So quickly though, I think I know the answer to this, but what teachers influenced you in your fields of study thus far?
I feel like there's been so many people that have impacted my journey along the way at BCC, but by far, Kari Dupuis has definitely been the biggest impact on me. Yeah, Kari Dupuis right now, actually, if you go to BCC's website, you're going to see her spotlight right there, and it is a fantastic spotlight. She's also an alum of BCC as is her husband. So great. And then Hannah, who's influenced you at BCC?
So a lot of people have influenced me too, but two particularly stand out. Dr. Jen Collins, who is my chemistry professor, so I've done 2 years of courses with her, and because chemistry was my the first course I ever took at BCC, and also she was my advisor when I first started at BCC. So she helped me sort of navigate through all the opportunities that are out there.
Right.
And I mean, I was only 16, so I didn't really know what was going on at any given time. So she, and even this week, I was in her office and I was like, can I talk to you about some advising things? And she's like, I'm not even your advisor anymore. But she sat and talked with me for an hour and about colleges and degrees. And then the other person would be Faye Reynolds. And she's my official advisor now, and she's helped me through working through a lot of stuff. She knows a lot about the medical field and biology programs and colleges around here. So
one of the things with Faye, when one of my first spotlights I ever wrote was on the bioscience image library that Faye created at BCC. It's one of the only bioscience libraries that takes detailed microscopic pictures of various different plants and animals, and then puts all of the information around that, all the different information around the scientific things around that, and then publishes that on Flickr and makes it free to anyone in the world to use. Because she was saying when people create textbooks or they create different research opportunities, access to photography or to those images can be very expensive. And so you see a lot of textbooks that don't have any images in them because they're too expensive to get. So her goal was to just go through and take pictures of everything she could, mark them up, and then make them free. And do you want to talk about some of that a little bit, like your experience with the bioscience library? Because I know you had a hand in collecting this.
Yeah, so last semester was when I first learned about it, and she asked me if I wanted to help her take some of those images and do that. And we talked to Stacey Evans, who's the director of the honors program at BCC, and we ended up setting it up so it was an honors independent study. And I worked with Faye a couple hours every week. She taught me, we have an amazing microscope. It's huge, and camera system, and there's a whole TV attached to it. And so she taught me how to use that. And then you take slides and you look through all the slides with the microscope and take photos of those. And then we researched the cells that we did. She spent a tremendous amount of time and energy on this project.
I know, seriously.
It's a lot of work. And then, we posted them, and I learned so much from that.
It's really great because one of the things we get in marketing is we get Google alerts whenever anything mentions BCC in the world. And we started seeing, after she published her work, and then we started really boosting that information out to the general public, we got notifications that were saying Harvard Medical School is using your picture. And you read this article, and it's one of them was just about, I don't even, fat cells or something. It was really gross kind of. And it was just going on and saying here's a giant image of a microscopic picture, and underneath it, and it's attached to a Harvard medical journal. And there's lots of stuff I was trying to read, and I was like, I can't even quote this because it's way too in depth, and the general audience would be like, I don't understand it because I don't understand it. But at least underneath the picture of this, it said, picture courtesy of the BCC Bioscience Image Library. And I was like, that's really cool. We saw that happen more and more and more. We have probably a couple dozen stories of where we saw those things pop up across the world. We saw some of them coming from the UK. We saw some popping up from India, just different medical journals who were talking about very specific types of microscopic things, especially right now in the plant kingdom, because that's what you guys have really done a really good job of getting a great collection of. And then you just see attached to these stories BCC, BCC in Western Mass is attached to a medical journal in India. That's insane. But that's how important this was for Faye, and she knew this would be something that would be important to the rest of the researchers across the world. And I think that's kind of awesome that BCC gets that distinction to be we are helping people in their research to articulate really important things by just taking pictures and then labeling them and then sharing them freely with the world. So, pat on our own back for that. We're pretty awesome. Okay, so what do you guys do? What are you guys involved in at BCC? What different clubs or activities do you guys like to do?
So I'm part of a lot.
I know. I was going to say, I'm going to point this one toward Alicia because I know that she's involved in a lot.
So I've been a student ambassador. This is my 3rd year now being a part of that. I am the co-facilitator of the Human Service Club, which began the semester that I actually began. And then I am the vice president of community outreach for PTK, which is Phi Theta Kappa.
Wow.
I am a tutor. I'm a peer mentor for the TRIO program. I've also been a peer mentor in BCC 101 as well. I feel like there's probably more.
So do you live on campus? I mean, do you have do you just camp out? Or do you just
I might as
put
well.
up a tent in the connector and just move in? I mean, you're basically doing everything there. That's crazy.
I am also a part of the OLLI program actually too. That's another.
The OLLI mentoring program?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So you do a lot in mentoring. So let's touch on a couple of those. So I think one of the things is that we do a lot around PTK, which is another really interesting society but we don't really talk about it that much. So what is PTK?
So it's kind of an honor society, essentially. It's not like a fraternity. Like a lot of people think,
right.
Okay, if I think it's obviously a fraternity. No, it's not. It's an honor society that really just rewards students for doing well in school.
That's great.
If you have 30 or more credits, I believe you have to have a 3.6 in order to be a part of it. And if you're below that, I believe it's a 3.8.
Wow.
But there's like 3 target areas, which is like the opportunity for scholarships, the opportunity to volunteer, and the opportunity to have a leadership role on your campus.
And I would assume that if you're planning on transferring, that distinction of being a part of that society must be helpful if you're going to use that to get into another 4-year school.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think of things such as like the application fees; they're typically waived.
Oh wow! Okay.
There's a lot of scholarship opportunities that if you're like applying for somewhere, they may be like, because you're part of PTK, we want to be able to help you out and give you this.
Right.
So there's definitely a lot that can be.
That's great, because I can tell you, I've been marketing it for a while, but I didn't really know what it was. So it's important to let folks know we have that opportunity on campus. And then the Human Services Club, I know that club is expansive and they do a lot. And I know that Kari oversees that, Kari Dupuy oversees that to some extent, and she's told me about it. But let's touch on that a bit. What does Human Services Club do? I know it's a lot. So.
It is. So, but it's such a great club. We have definitely expanded from when we first began. We have, I want to say, anywhere between 8 to 20 members that participate within it. And it's what ways we can help the community, not in just the community college aspect, but as well as our local community.
Right.
So we helped on campus with things such as like the food pantry. We've helped out with new student orientations. Our goal is to help with the Thanksgiving baskets this year.
Right.
So there's a lot. And I mean, we have a goal of trying to set up a mystery dinner for next semester, which really involves every club and organization on campus to really create that community aspect.
Yeah.
We also do work in the community, which is volunteering with the Christian Center. We deliver Thanksgiving meals, which is really rewarding.
Yeah.
We do a shop and dine for each holiday that benefits the Elizabeth Freeman Center. So we'll go out to eat together, and then we could go shopping together to buy the items.
For the Elizabeth Freeman Center. Yeah. Awesome. Great.
So there's a lot of different things that we do, as well as really being a support for one another. That's probably one of the biggest things, is that, whenever we're in club, we typically take time to just kind of check on each other, and it's a really good support system.
It makes a lot of sense, especially in human services, because, I mean, just helping each other through the social work aspect of that and being able to build each other up and make sure that everyone feels, because there's a lot that goes into social work, and it can be emotionally exhausting. And so if you're in that field and you need a support system, that club sounds like it's a perfect way to bounce ideas off of and also balance stresses off of each other. So that's awesome. I want to talk about the mentoring thing quickly, because we have a lot of mentoring opportunities at BCC. We have OLLI mentoring, we have the Make Dreams Real mentoring program that Kari's instituted, and we have a Men of Color initiative. They're all lumped under mentoring at BCC, but we also have peer mentoring. So where is that out of, and how does that work?
So the peer mentoring is, I'm creating a peer mentoring program through my independent study, which is for the Human Service and Social Work degree program. So it's where second-year students or above can mentor someone who is incoming and beginning the program. Really just being able to have that interaction and have the connection with another peer that can really institute the power that someone might need to be able to be I can do this. It is possible. really just a support system,
Yeah.
once again, especially for this field.
It's almost taking what you're learning from your Human Services Club group by itself and then taking those skill set and then just sharing that with more than just your club, other
Yeah.
students on campus. That's awesome. Great, cool. And then, Hannah, I know that you're a new student ambassador this year. And so what are the student ambassadors, briefly, what do they, I know you're both student ambassadors. I'm going to ask this to Hannah, though. What do you guys do? What is your role on campus?
So we do like a lot with like activities and events and stuff, like with new student orientation. We were there welcoming the new students and participating in the like in the introductions and stuff.
Yep.
And we gave a tour. So we give tours for new students, the ice cream social,
Yep.
helping with that, helping with forums, signing people in, distributing flyers around campus, and making people aware of like events and things that are going on both on campus and also in the community.
Right, right. We were hoping this year, we have a new mascot, as you guys know, which we're trying to name. We'll talk about that maybe in a minute. But one of the things with the mascot is that I've been the mascot. It's a lot. And we were hoping some of our student ambassadors could perform as the mascot, but a lot of our student ambassadors are very short. And
We are.
and
Yes.
it would have been a very tiny mascot. So we ended up, it's a work study, which is what makes more sense, I think, to make it a work study. But working through the opportunities to build awareness around what BC is, be those ambassadors who can kind of say, I've chosen to spend more time being somebody who you can connect with and sharing all the joy of BCC. As an ambassador's like job, I think, and you guys do such a great job at that. It's really, really helpful to know that we can rely on students who want to participate in helping us be better stewards of the community college atmosphere. So I really appreciate that you guys do that for us. So I think this one's an interesting question for both of you, but because you started college so young, and because you were saying that in your past it took you 10 years to get back because of there were situations with a disability. What do you find you do for support services on campus?
So for me, I utilize the DRC, which is the Disability Resource Center, and Pam Farron has been extraordinarily helpful
Yeah.
with so many aspects, like from really like being like, these are the accommodations that we can help you with. I mean, I think of things such as Kurzweil, which a lot of people haven't heard of before, which is an online application that really takes your books and it enlarges them, as well as it can read them to you.
Yep.
And you can take notes. There's so many different things you can do with the program,
Right.
but especially with being legally blind, which a lot of people don't necessarily know about me, it's really helpful. Then we have like things such as a smart pen, which records your lectures.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's really cool.
there's a lot of different things that are out there. It's just really looking for them.
Yeah.
The other resources I've definitely used on campus is Trio. Trio is
Right.
one of the hugest support systems that I feel like I have other than the Human Service Program.
Right.
Because I feel like it's such a family up there. Like everyone is really like a whole unit, and you can always go there and there's always someone that's there to support you. And then the first semester, I feel like I lived in the tutoring center.
Right.
And not because I was struggling,
Right.
but because I really wanted to succeed. I really wanted to be the best that I could be.
Yeah. A lot of people think that you actually have to pay for tutoring. And so one of our campaigns is always, and Joe Hennessy always says, make sure you tell the students every single year, tutoring is free, because there's always a myth that gets out that you have to pay for tutoring, and it's not. Tutoring is always free, so another plug for Joe. Yeah. And then, Hannah, did you utilize any services on campus that you could think of from when you were, when you were younger than you are now?
You make me sound ancient.
Oh, well, you're not 32 yet. You're not ancient, don't worry. But
Yeah, I was a part of Trio too,
Yeah.
and Peggy Williams was like her and Larry were like kind
Right.
of like the head of it at the time, and they like really came alongside me. She was before I started my first semester at BCC, I did a math module in the summer, so I did 1 credit of college algebra, and she was my teacher, which is how I first met her and got involved in Trio. And so she helped me whenever I had questions on math. I always came in and asked her. She also helped me with advising stuff, planning my courses and figuring out what I wanted to do, especially once I started learning about opportunities besides just the nursing program.
Right.
And I also use the tutoring center,
Yeah.
Primarily for chemistry,
Yeah.
because as much as I love that class, it's a tough class.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And so I was really panicked at first. But yeah, the tutoring center is a great resource. And I know it's not official support, but all of the faculty and all the professors at BCC, one thing that I used a lot was office hours. That was just, that I never knew that was a thing in college, but just knowing that there's opportunities where you can just go to your professor's office and ask them questions, talk about assignments, have them help you through things, that was really helpful for me.
And you found that our faculty were receptive to that? That they were always
absolutely.
Like, yeah, our faculty are pretty awesome. Okay, with our last minute that we have left, what advice do you have for other students thinking about going to college, in general? Like if you, and you do have two very different, I think, experiences with going to college. So what's your general advice for any student going to college?
For me, I really would say that, like, really don't be afraid. Like, you can do it. There's so much self-doubt that we all create in our own minds, but, like, I feel like I'm proof that, like, I didn't think I could do it, and I'm here, and I'm involved, and I have a 3.8 GPA, and
wow. And you overcome obstacles to get there. Yeah, that's awesome. And Hannah, what's your general advice for anyone thinking about college?
Not to get hung up on one career path.
Right.
Because that was something that always stressed me out. Just take courses, and if there's something that you like, then veer towards that. And that was one thing that I really liked about BCC too, is because the courses, it's not as expensive as like a 4-year university. So you can kind of take courses in different things. Like next semester I'm looking to take an anthropology course because I like anthropology, even though it has nothing to do with STEM. So just keep an open mind and use resources that are there, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's great advice. With that, we're actually out of time, so I want to thank Hannah Dargi and Alicia Starsja for joining me on Access Higher Ed. My name is Jonah Sykes. I'm the Manager of Marketing and Communications at Berkshire Community College, and thank you for watching.